Namaskar, Jai Hind, and today I'm going to talk about the present scenario of the JEE mains and the Neet examinations, which have been scheduled to be taken in the month of September. And there is a great hue and cry about whether the exams should be conducted or not. And to begin with, okay, I'm Abhijit Patil. I come from the city of Kolhapur. Uh, I'm an educationist, you can say so, been a tutor. And I believe that yes, every time a student prepares for an examination, he or she is in that tempo that okay, I'm prepared now, tomorrow I've got a paper and I'm done with it. Okay, the paper gets postponed, well, the student doesn't understand what to do. Okay, now the preparation is again into tolerance, where to start from, okay, how to carry it out. And again, you have to build up that tempo for that particular D-Day. Okay, and I was believing in this fact that yes, it should be done once for all. Well, the last few days, when I'm looking at a few comments, a few real life, stories and problems faced by the students and their families, I thought that it was rational and it was important to put up the other side of the story also. Okay, and I was convinced after the judgments and all the discussions done by the NTA. The Supreme Court has done its job. The petition went to the Supreme Court. It said, okay, our say on this from a legal point of view is this. Now the onus lies with the government and the NTA. Now the ball lies in the court of NTA, and the NTA, unfortunately, adamantly, irrationally, without a scientific data, and I'm today talking only again on authenticity of data and on science, scientific practices, rationality and intellect. I'm apolitical, I'm least bothered about what political party does what. And I'm starting this with the news today morning, which was flashed that 150 odd academicians wrote to the Prime Minister that, it's a great decision to carry out the examinations, and some people are trying to destroy the career of the students. Now, this is something very critical. So, all the parents who wrote to the government that you should not take the examinations, are the parents responsible for destroying the careers of their students, their child? I think we have to ask this question, and very genuinely and sincerely ask this question. And to begin with, the first point what the NTA does is, the moment anyone asks the question, it points out to the Supreme Court. And it says, well, it's the Supreme Court's line, and the line they pick up is life must go on. And I go back to the days when the lockdown started. And then we had this line, ki jaan hai to jahan hai. So many contradictory things are happening. And to begin with, the defense that the NTA puts forward is an academic year will be lost. And I think that's an absolute fallacy. It's a false thing, given the premise of science and management and administrative techniques. And you can ask any engineering student who is in the first year, or any medical student who is in the first year, well, due to the admission process, which is spaced out for 2-3 months, your exams get over in the month of May, okay, or by May end or sometimes June, and then you've got 2 months of first round and second round and third round, and then your college semester starts in September. By the time you start your college, Diwali vacations come in, and then you go down to December, and then January, and then May, the year ends. So if you look at it, you've got a year of teaching and academics from September to March, say at the most April. So 6 to 8 months of actual teaching. And a very simple solution, because people are asking about solutions on social media, on TV channels, and I'm here to talk about the science behind this. Okay? Now, if you look at the academic year, my simple logic is, well, scientifically, all countries, whether it is Germany, whether it's Italy is opening its schools right now on 1st of September. And the first thing they've done, very beautiful, is they're testing all the teachers. Well, we don't have any protocol, we don't have SOPs. And the NTA is putting the onus on all these protocols and SOPs onto states which are already struggling with, so many problems. It's a simple logical thing where a lay common man can tell you, you don't need to be, a high judicial official or an NTO official or an education ministry official to understand this, that rain is affecting. Just today we have got an alert from the meteorological department. There are going to be rains in Chhattisgarh and the northern states. Now you've got the J starting from 1st of September. Suppose, it rains for 2-3 days and the roads are blocked. How are you going to get the students? Now a simple shift and a simple logical thing is you just take the exams into the months which are not rain prone. Yes, someone can defend, oh, even then you can have a cloudburst. That is understood. But when you put it into the month of, October, probably, let's see, where you don't have a general trend of rain disturbing life, that is one thing. So almost 50% or less states which are affected by rain, the children there will be, okay, calm, cool, okay, fine, I can go to my center. Floods are not going to affect my, okay, commuting, my transport. Point number one. The second point, when you talk of this, that academic year is going to be destroyed, okay, the onus again lies with the government. The government can easily make policies that we will reduce the syllabus and we will start the academic year from January 1st. Okay, so you take your exams in October, you've got 2 months to finalize your admissions, your rounds, and on 1st Jan the academic year starts. The Sundays will be worked, alternate day, the teachers will be taking the leave, so Sundays are used. We are not going to give you a May vacation, we're going to use the vacation, okay, and we'll end our academic year by, okay, July end. Okay, and the next batch which comes, it is as it is going to start in August. And you can spread out the lessons which are there in the remaining 2 years. Simple. Where is this line that the career of the students is in peril? I'm sorry. You are creating an agenda which is so scary and so fearsome, and which is not. On the other hand, the real fear lies there. And I would like to tell this to the people all over the world, what is happening. And the same problem is in India. We are not different. In USA, so many regions opened up their schools, and look at USA. Donald Trump didn't accept that the virus was going to create trouble and problem. He said, you're going to open it, it is going to go away. And probably the same thing's happening here. Donald Trump is going against all the official scientific data, authentic data. He is going against all the authentic experts in that field, like Dr. Fauci. If people who are in touch with that scenario, you can know what I'm trying to say. And then, the most embarrassing moment which I saw with respect to the United States of America, it is a country which is known to have the most fantastic healthcare systems, an infrastructure that is amazing, okay, a very nice response to emergencies. And look at that, they're having 170,000 people dead. And that is because of wrong governmental policies. America has lost so many doctors in this, do you know? And it's a big loss to the nation, because these doctors would have saved so many lives. Same thing has happened in India. Well, to talk on what the preparedness plan was and what we did for these 4 months where we still don't have beds, we still don't have enough amount of, just yesterday there was a Dharna Andolan in my state in Maharashtra by the nurses that they have not been given adequate services. Look at the ASHA workers who are asking for a hike in pay scale and PPE kits. We have not, ASHA workers should be given the PPE kits. This is the authentic scientific application of a protocol. And I'm sorry, we don't have protocols in India. So the first solution is given that the academic year can be adjusted like this. The second part, okay, many people say that, well, these students are going to be tomorrow's future. They are going to be doctors and engineers, and they need to be strong, of course. We need to create warriors out of them. But have we trained them to be like warriors? Are we genuinely preparing them for that? That's the basic question. Now just imagine this, that a student, this is an unanswerable question on any platform, and I can debate with this on this with anyone on any given framework, because it's very rational and scientific. There is a clause in this NTA thing that if a student, yes, there are chances that so many students are appearing out of the 16 lakh or whatever JE plus a Neet thing, he's COVID positive, he is ill, you are telling him, you come to our center, we will give you a separate room. Does the NTA and all the people who are supporting this move understand that the viral impact on the body, even for a young student, is going to be, if you see the list of things that can happen to the student, is weakness, okay, and so many other problems, maybe lack of breathing, we don't know, because it changes from person to person. So what will be the efficiency of this student in giving the examination? And he has given his 2 strong, hard working years. Probably his father, okay, his mother have worked a lot for that. If he comes from a family which is not able to afford education, and this student gives an examination, gets a lesser score, what happens to his career? That is what I call is putting his career in peril. Adjusting the academic year for 6 months from January to May is much more easier, much more healthier, much more sane, much more intelligent, much more rational, much more legal, rather than forcing the students to give their exams now. For one simple reason, no one is asking for postponement or subsidizing anything or adjustment of scores at all. And then some people, I heard a minister from some state, Karnataka, I think, he was saying there are vested interests in this. Now, if you look at the situation, there are so many private colleges who are communicating children and they're telling them, we will give you admission for our engineering course on the basis of your old, that is the January score of IIT mains. Medical colleges have opened up their admissions and they're saying you pay an XYZ donation and your seat is confirmed. We will look at the Neet score later on. I think the government has to first stop this. Rather, I would put it the other way around. The vested interest in this are all these, private owned autonomous institutes, because they know that until and unless this mass of students goes through the examination and then they come to a conclusion, okay, I've got less marks in these examinations, now I'll opt for a private college. They want their courses to be started, they want their fees to be procured, and their businesses should run. This is the only scientific reason, if you look at a vested interest of anyone trying to push these exams. And when these academicians, so-called great honorable academicians, saying that people are trying to destroy the lives of these students, who are they? These are these private institutes, and your national education policy, which you're going to propose further, it is also opening the gates for private institutions. If you really want to make a difference in these policies, promise the country that you're going to have good government schools, good government colleges, junior colleges, graduation colleges, post-graduation colleges, postdoctoral research institutes, which are government. And I believe that any government college, especially the IITs and ISR, I know cases where a farmer's son, a farmer who is a marginal farmer, gets into IIT and he's shocked to know that the fees, for an open category student the total fees are around 8 to 10 lakhs. You can Google it out and you can see. The great education minister who did this change, that they changed the fees of IIT to almost 2 lakhs per year, is exorbitantly high. How can a common man's son afford this, even if you go for an education loan? And then the stress on the student is, if I don't pass my first year of IIT, my father has to again borrow. That might be a cause for stress, which would end up in disastrous results, as we know what students have been doing in these years in IITs. With how do they handle failure? We have this governing body of NTA, and elite people are out there from IITs. And when I went through the governing body, I don't see an educationist out there. I don't see a psychologist. I don't see a sociologist. These are very important aspects. I believe that the entire hard work put into 18 months is tested in those 3 hours. And those 3 hours have to be fantastically perfect. Everything has to be balanced in those 3 hours. And precisely these 3 hours are going to be critical. I know a student, whom was interacting on one of the forums. He said, sir, I have asthma. And I tried giving the, mock test with my mask, and I had to use more of Astelin than, I used Astelin in 3 days, which I usually use in 3 months. What about these people? This is what we really have to think. And look at USA. In a school in USA where there are 1,000 people, 245 are found positive. Now just imagine if these 245 kids have gone back, they've passed the virus, probably 2 people, half of the family, if there are 4 members in a family, his parents and his grandparents, that is 50% of the population is above 50, which is considered to be a vulnerable age. And just look at that, 240 students testing positive. Rest of the students, all the 1,000 people have to be tested. So there is a tremendous stress on testing. You're putting, them into a very bad situation, because if the virus is carried back and someone from the family is infected, who is going to take the responsibility? No one is going to take the responsibility. And I put a case in front of this, the so-called people who have given these decisions. Just imagine a student is preparing for his NEET test or IIT JEE mains, and he has got his entire family COVID positive, admitted in a hospital. Probably his father is in ICU. Do you think mentally, emotionally, psychologically, this boy would be able to perform properly in the examination? Again, we can put this defense. It'll be strong. Absolutely. Yes. Suppose in the case he is going for an examination and his unfortunately father suffers a heart attack. We can counsel another time. Fine. Okay, these are unprecedented things and which are not under our control. But this is something which is under our control. And there is no responsibility and accountability taken, okay, by anyone out here, and giving some lame excuses like the year will be academically destroyed and then the careers will be in peril, etc. I don't understand it, how the career is going to be in peril. You can adjust this very easily. And then look at the state governments. They have made it a political issue. And if really NTA wanted to carry this out, why was it that when the petition was filed in the Supreme Court, all these protocols came in? If the examinations were on 1st of September, NTA should have started preparing for it from 1st of August, and they should have had mock drills. And I'm quoting two examples. Two students last year faced this problem in my city. A new center for Neet was allotted, and the papers were given by the invigilators who are there coordinating the paper 20 to 15 minutes late. Now there is no redressal mechanism for this. Forget this. Another case, okay, as I said, training of the staff. Where has NT trained the staff for their success courses? They can't answer this. Where is the pilot run? They can't answer this. Where is the pilot run for transportation, hygiene, sanitation, etc., etc.? Even I'm of this opinion. You look at those masks which they're going to produce. I went to the medical shop and I said, I want a mask on which it is printed that this is prepared in a sterile condition. And I'm damn sure you can go and check it, except companies like 3M. If you look at a mask, we don't know in which Tom, Dick, Harry, production unit these masks are produced. And the quality is so bad that mask itself might be carrying bacteria, fungus, and viruses for you. These are the masks which we are going to, supply to the students as a matter of fact. I would be very happy if this mask have a proper label which talks about sterilization, standard procedures used, etc., etc. So there itself we are faltering. So we don't have any systems, we don't have protocols, we don't have SOPs. That's all. Now you don't have the training of the staff, and this is what happened. A NEET student went to the examination and you have to carry 2 photographs. Okay. Now due to the tension and due to the hassle, she forgot to carry the photographs. Her mother was outside having those photos. Fortunately, that poor lady was sitting outside with the photographs. This girl was starting the examination. The coordinating person comes and says, we need your photographs. And she says, oh, I don't have them now. And the rule was that you have to just make that child comfortable, fine, and you have a substitution there. You can take her image with a camera and that is valid. But the person in charge was not trained. He didn't do anything, and he said, no, I can't allow you to go to the examination. This girl broke down completely. Her confidence went off. She had no cell phone, no means of communication. Somehow, she went out and communicated to her mother. The photographs came in. She lost 25 minutes. And I think the NTA people, or all of you parents listening to this, understand what 25 minutes mean for a highly competitive exam like NEET. Is the NTA going to take the responsibility? It will not, because it will immediately say it is not our problem. It is the state. The onus lies on them. Do we have any SOPs, given? Do we have mock runs? Do we have pilot tests done? You have not. If they would have done this from 1st of August, I would have been the first person to endorse it. No, the system is there. And let's take it into consideration. The graph is going up. 70,000 plus cases. All the countries started the schools when the curve flattened and started going down. We are the only country opening up with the graph going up, just like Donald Trump is doing in America. When I look at these people, I see Donald Trump in them. Nothing happens, go ahead. I won't wear a mask. That was his statement. And look what has happened to America. We need to learn. A wise man learns from mistakes of a foolish person. And when I look at these organizing bodies, everything, the legislature, the judiciary, the executive bodies, why are we making these blunders? And then if you ask a question, you're either an anti-national, okay, or you are into contempt of blah, blah, blah. And no one is bothered about the common man on the street and the grassroots realities and ground realities, what I'm trying to tell you now. Parents who are aware, and I've been telling students as a counselor for these coming days, if you're starting testing yourself, wear a mask, wear a face shield, wear gloves, and give your mock test. For 3 hours, you're not going to drink water, you're not going to go to the washroom. Don't put on the air conditioning in your room, and the child sweats and sweats and sweats. There is suffocation, there is discomfort, and we are training these students. And this is for those students and those parents who really are the future of this country. Be hard, be tough. We know that MNC of these organizations, they will not take a stand wherein they can make the students comfortable. And in such a situation, we have to be strong. And Indians have always proved it, that we have been performing tremendously good in spite of not having the right infrastructure. Isn't it? We live in a country where potholes kill millions of people. There is a UN cry, again next year, potholes kills millions of people. We are a country where millions of children die due to malnutrition. Again, okay, the show goes on, and the show goes on because of the strength of these people. And students who are watching this, be strong, be prepared, have proper diet, exercise, meditate a lot, put on the mask, and give at least one paper per day, and be focused. And let me tell you what happens when you wear a mask. Your eyesight is, a bit disturbed. So start getting adjusted to the screen of the laptop, okay, or the paper for the Neet students. And this comes by practice. Though the NT has not given this protocol, in India, we have to create our own protocols, create our own defense mechanism. And that's what we have to do now. Because the accountability and responsibility from these organizations cannot be expected by us as common people. And it has never been proved. Like, you take some random haphazard decisions and then the onus lies on someone. And the poor Supreme Court is misled every time. Like I talked about demonetization. They were told that 3 lakh crores would come back. And 100 people died standing in the queue. Now it's the fault of the 100 people. And we got a fantastic reply to that. Oh, we are so sorry. You have to do something for the country. You have to sacrifice. What did they sacrifice for? It's a bigger question. And no one again goes back to these questions. So if tomorrow a child coming from the center and carrying the virus and infecting the family, and someone, let's say for example, in a worst come worst situation, किसी के साथ भी नहीं होना चाहिए, but imagine a boy catches this virus and comes home, and his father, who is going to be the person supporting him to get educated, unfortunately, if he contracts it, he's a comorbid person and he dies, that child cannot finish his education. His career is in peril. And then it will happen, and I'm predicting this. If this can happen, well, it's like a double-edged sword. Like some great political leader will come and say, okay, fine, I've heard your complaint. We will postpone the examination. मैं लोगों की सुनता हूँ. Okay, and सबका साथ. This may happen. I would be very happy if this happens, because it's going to be for the betterment of the students, whatever way it is done. Or if someone from these greater academicians comes and tells us these examinations are for the students, of the students, by the students. They are not by the government, of the government, for the government, by the bureaucracy, of the bureaucracy, for the bureaucracy, or for, by, and of, for any organization. And the simplest thing the Supreme Court would have done, it's a genuine appeal, you can say. Okay, that it is very simple. They could have created a portal, the Education Ministry and the Supreme Court, and they would have just told registered students to simply send a reply, would you like to have exams on this day? And this is a technologically great era. Immediately students would have responded, and we would have got everything in black and white, because there are politicians who are saying for 2.5% of students, we're destroying the career of 9-10%. And if you look at the amount of people talking about not conducting the examination, the number prima facie appears to be large. And there is a divide in students also because of agendas. Because students who say that, okay, we want the exam right now, the anxiety is developing, they're not going to lose more. They have to just be calm and patient, and they can train themselves to do examinations and prepare more properly for the exams in October. But students who are really stressed, who are having problems of communication, transport, floods, living in an isolation zone of COVID, they are stressed out because their family members are affected, they are hospitalized, you would be giving a fair chance to them. And who is going to lose this race is the have-nots in the form of students, okay, who don't have all the mechanism to get trained. So many students didn't have even cell phones, and we have got students in South Indian states, taking some very drastic steps because they didn't have cell phones to study. I don't know. Maybe it's too late for me to propose this, or even to give these solutions. But it just came out because when I saw the entire discussion and the decisions taken, there is no rationality, there's no science. And I said, where is the science behind it? And you put up statements and tell the whole world these are scientific statements. The academic year is going to be destroyed, the students' careers in peril. No, both the statements are absolutely wrong. And then there is another defense that the students have started, downloading the admit card. What the hell the student would do? Because he can't say, I'm not going to, download the admit card, I'm not going to give the examination. No, he says, come this way or that way. If I'm forced, I have to give this examination. Jo bhi ho. There's no choice. They are pushed into a choiceless, framework. And what science tells us is this: ask any proper, intellectual, rational person who can talk without a bias and on legitimate grounds, and the answer would be this: that there are solutions. If the government wants, they can make these things very smooth, very easy, very comfortable, and my God, the whole country would stand behind them. The youth of this country would stand behind them. They just have to look at things scientifically. Even now, the higher courts can take decisions and find out solutions. The common man goes to Supreme Court as a problem solver. And I think that the Supreme Court is the only place where people have faith. The courts are the only place where people have faith, because they go to these institutions when they know that other levels of administration have not given them what they want, and something that has been rational. And I think we really need to have a thought on this. Okay, but on a given note, I can say so, and I'm sorry, but I need to point this out that we are a country which runs on something that is, as I always say, authentic data, authentic analysis of the authentic data, and decisions taken on this are always pro-human and always beneficial. Non-authentic data, which is not scientific, analysis done of that and decisions taken on them always prove miserable. And then the decision making becomes fascist. It is pushed down the throats of the common man. And on account of that, I would appeal to all the students, whatever may the consequences of these discussions and the decisions, be prepared for examinations, be strong, okay? Be ready for anything. Someone in your family might be admitted in a hospital. You may lose even someone on that day of examination. We don't know. Be ready, be like a warrior, come what may. Whatever I've done in my 18 months, my 2 years, I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to give my best. Don't be worried about the consequences. So all the best and best of luck. Jai Hind. Take care. Bye.